Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
So this has to be, if not my favorite movie, at least top probably five. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if it's standing the test of time, but I guess we'll kind of get into that and get your opinion on it. So,
Well, I hadn't watched it for, I think I was telling you, probably 2 decades, maybe more, and it still holds up. And I think it's just because it's such an original idea, right? Like I don't know the history of time machine movies, and maybe this was one of the first ones, but I think it's still good because it's not just a ripoff of another story. Like it's such a great original idea, especially at that time.
yeah, 100%. Um, I agree it stands the test of time. I think it's because of our age. And the only reason I say that is because the 50s were only 30 years earlier. Someone to watch it now, like, that'd be like us watching something from like the 20s.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. It is like the perfect wheelhouse of time where it's still in everybody's memory, I guess.
I mean, like, I also grew up watching like Andy of Mayberry and all those things. So, like, things happening in the 50s or whatever, it was still kind of in the back of my mind, even though obviously you didn't grow up in that era or whatever, but you still had so much of that stuff on TV and like the honeymooners,
Right.
so many different things. But that's the only downside that I can think of that would be for not standing the test of time. But absolutely everything else about the movie stands out, like the special effects, the everything. So,
Yeah, I totally agree. And even I don't remember a lot of movies before this because when this came out, I was still pretty young. But I feel like it seemed to be the start of all the product placement and pop culture references wrapped into the movie that kind of makes it cool and hip.
100%. It was it's it's almost too much product placement.
Well done.
So yeah, it's every movie's got product placement, and it's just this one here. It's really in your face everywhere. Like they're talking about it, they're showing it, but it's almost like that was the beginning of how movies needed to start generating more income for different things, right? So
For sure. And talk about nightmare fuel. When I put it on, we were just coming off nights, and the first thing that comes in audio after like the opening credit music is a Toyota commercial
I noticed
on
that
the
too.
radio, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Like that's got to be like the first 5 seconds as the camera
Yeah.
pans across. So get your Toyota today. Well, I thought that was great actually. So well,
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
let's start at the somewhat beginning, I guess. So the movie opened July 3rd, 1985. Um, it did really well. It had a budget of $19 million. The opening weekend was, let's see here, what do I have written down? 11.3 million. So just for the opening weekend, and then worldwide, domestically is 215 million, and then worldwide it was just under 389 million. So I think it did all right for
Yeah, holy cow.
a time
Ni-
travel time travel film. So
19 million seems insane. But then when you start thinking about it, when I was watching it, this has to be the most obvious like set of a town. Like even when they're driving around town, it looks pretty crappy.
yeah, 100%.
And I was just like, man, they definitely cut a few corners. But then it all wraps into they made it so easy to transform, back to the different times and keeping a cast of characters kind of small so you
Yeah,
can just go one for one. I thought that was genius. But
yeah. It's funny. The when I was doing my research there, the lot's still there. It's had some fires over the years or whatever, but the fact that it's still there, you almost want them to open it up and just let people walk around. And maybe they have, and it's just not that public or known or whatever. But the set, I agree. It's I don't want to say it's basic, but it's exactly what the movie needed. So
Yeah.
it's not too in depth or whatever. But
It reminded me of, you ever seen Blazing Saddles where they make the fake town? That's what it looked
yeah.
like. Like they hired those guys to make a fake town.
Well, even Doc's set whenever he makes one for running the test with the car, if you look closely, it's all like pop bottles and like
Yeah.
Kleenex boxes all painted gray. Like, how much time did you spend on this thing? Like, like, you're supposed to be working out calculations, and you spent more time building a set.
That's true.
Well, so Marty McFly, obviously Michael J. Fox. Leah Thompson played Lorraine. Doc Brown was Christopher Lloyd. I feel like those are the names that so many people do know. And even though George McFly was such a epic part of this whole movie, and like just the name McFly and knocking on the head, hey McFly, right? A lot of people don't even know his name in real life. Like Crispin Glover, he's been in a ton of things, Charlie's Angels, all these things. He always plays kind of a weird guy, but from what I understand from what other people on the set said, nice guy, but he's a little off. He's a little weird, right? So, but that kind of plays right into that character.
Yeah, I don't think you could cast that guy any better. Like, even when the very first scene he's in, it just seems so awkward. And now you started naming all off those other movies he's been in. He is an awkward dude.
Yeah.
It's almost uncomfortable when Michael J. Fox is just looking at him, and you can feel there's like a weird tension there. And then he does nothing to release that tension at all. He just cranks up the awkwardness.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because Michael J. Fox, obviously playing his son, is, I think he's 6 years older than Crispin Glover, or 3 years older than Crispin Glover, and same as his mom. Like he's the older one out of that group, and he's the one that's playing their kid.
I read too that the original story was, the guy's original idea was, if I went back in time, would I be friends with my dad if we were in high school? Like I heard that was like the original pitch.
Yeah. Well, he said he was going through his dad's yearbook, and he was going through all the pictures and everything, and saw that his dad was the president of the, I think, student body or something. And in his mind's like, these are the guys in high school that I didn't like. And then it just turned into exactly what you said. Like, would I be friends with my dad if I was in that same time frame? So, but I mean, it's a different time as well, right? So maybe your attitude towards everything is somewhat changed. So
sure, yeah. I thought that was pretty neat concept. I don't know if I'd be friends with my dad or not.
I couldn't answer that either, because like I don't know what they did when they were younger. Like my dad grew up on a farm, and it was like, it's not the same. We had different upbringings, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's I don't know why it's always stuck with me that like this has been my favorite film. Like, so I was 10 years old when it came out, and I saw it 5 times in the theater. So back in Canada, there was obviously not grown up, or it's not done up like it is now or whatever. So there's a long path through the forest, and it came to an overpass that went over top of the 417, and on the other side it was the town center, and that was the movie thing. So we just ride our bikes over. And so in that first 2 weeks, I think it was, maybe, that I just rode back and just kept watching it because it was mesmerizing. The car, just everything. Everybody wanted to be Marty McFly, minus the last name.
Yeah, I grew up in a really, really small town, so we had to go to another town to watch it. And I can remember that was the first time I remember driving up the street where the theater was, and there was people all the way down the sidewalk, down the side street, lining up to get in. And I was like, I remember that for Wayne's World, oddly enough. But this one was the first time where I saw like 100 people lined up to get in to see a movie. And it was, I'm pretty sure I saw it twice, but I would have went more because I was the same. It's just like, this movie did something.
Yeah, it was like you were saying before about like how well it did in the box office for it being, a time travel movie. None of the other ones were done well, or I guess not perceived well or whatever. So when they first started making this movie, no studio wanted to touch them because time travel movies don't make money. So they all said no. Columbia said no. All of them said no. They all said, go to Disney. Disney makes these kind of movies or whatever, right? So they go, and of course, their apparent reason for not making it was because there's incest in the movie. We can't do this. So fair enough. And then oddly enough, move forward 60 years or whatever. Not 60 years. It's not 1955. However many years, 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden they buy. Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted with Star Wars because they said the same thing for that one. So, but it's just sorry about that. Get distracted. Too many movies lately. So,
Yeah.
but
It is
so,
a weird, that would be a weird pitch, right? Like this guy's going to go back in time and his mother's going to fall in love, love with him. Pretty bizarre. I can see why that was maybe a pass for Disney.
Yeah, the car has been so synonymous with the movie, obviously, and it's iconic. But it wasn't the original way for them to travel into the past. They were going to do it in a refrigerator, which is weird. So it was going to take place on some sort of site where there was going to be a nuclear blast. So they needed something that could withstand the blast, but the blast needed the fridge needed the energy from the blast to be able to travel through time.
Right.
So that I can see why they said time travel movies don't make any money, and that'd be one of the reasons why. Because I guess like an idea like that, just it's not going to get the traction that you need to keep people's attention, I think.
So kind of like the old nuclear blast footage where you got to jump in a refrigerator, like that was the idea, and then the explosion would send you back in time.
Yeah, and what movie had that afterwards by the same people?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did they not just do that in one of the 19 Indiana Jones movies that I haven't
Yeah.
seen?
Yeah, it was a testing site, and old Indy had to hop in the fridge to right. Of course, it's written right on the side of the fridge, lead lined. Oh, it's good to know.
Yeah.
So,
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think the fridge would have worked. I can't
I know.
imagine stuffing Einstein in the fridge for the first for the first test run there.
Yeah. So at the very beginning, there was the montage of the clocks as the camera pans by, and we were talking a couple days ago that because I had read that there was a picture of a clock that had Harold Lloyd, I believe, hanging from one of the hands on the big clock, and it was I couldn't find it forever, and of course 5 minutes ago, like right before we started, I came across it because I had the movie on the iPad right in front of me, and it was, I don't know why, but for some reason when I had it on the TV, it started at a certain spot, but that's apparently not the very beginning of the movie. There's still another like 15 seconds before that, so that's where it was, and it's plain as day right there, which is the foreshadowing for Doc
Right.
Brown hanging later on in the movie. So
I'll have to look for that. You were saying you couldn't find it. I'm gonna go back and look for that. That
Well-
opening scene, like where they're just panning across everything, is such a good setup for the whole thing. And something I didn't notice, obviously, when I was a kid, because I didn't know what plutonium was, but there it is sitting underneath the desk.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that I totally missed, 20, 30 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's cool too.
Yeah, the other part that was missing in the opening scene there was when it's panning by and it's showing the cameras, and then it's showing some news clippings about the Brown estate burning down, all that stuff. It was just kind of, it's not super important, but it kind of lends a little extra information to you about why things are the way they are in 1985 and how he's gone through his family fortune and all this stuff. So that right after that scene there with Marty leaving, that's the garage from 1955 that he goes and he's got that big massive helmet on or whatever. But that's all that's left, and now it's beside a Burger King. So
Really?
yeah,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the opening scene, and even like one of my favorite scenes as a kid is when Marty hooks up the big guitar into the big amp and blows himself. Because was always interested in guitar and stuff like that as a kid, and then all of a sudden here you just see him strum that chord and it just blows him away. I thought that was great. You kind of get a sense of, before you even meet him, what Doc Brown's kind of all about, just pushing the envelope with stuff. And yeah, you can't have a better opening, I don't think. Like that whole first 10 minutes is just pure gold.
Yeah. Not that I would nitpick or anything, but anyone that's ever played a guitar before knows that as soon as you plug that in, you would have blown everything right there.
Yeah. Yeah,
You got to plug all that stuff in and then crank everything up, right? So
yeah, true enough. True enough.
there is a Stanley Kubrick little nod in there, which I just read online or whatever. That so right when Marty puts the key in to get the amp started up, across the bottom it says it's like CR or CMR 115, whatever it is. That's something that Stanley's got throughout a bunch of his movies. So I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. But I never would have known that unless you do a little research on the movie. So
I didn't know that either. So the internet sleuths are all over this stuff, right? I don't know who has time to figure these things out, but I'm glad that they do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm going to guess that Zemeckis and those guys, those are all just little things for them, and like the other producers is like, if people notice it, great. If not, it's for somebody else anyway. So it's like a private little inside little thing, right?
It's cool. I like those things.
There was a blooper though in that opening scene though, that whenever Michael J. Fox drums and he gets thrown all the way back. If you look in his glasses before he takes them off, you can see the lighting and some of the crew in the reflection of his glasses.
Okay.
I didn't notice that when I was a kid, but I noticed it as an adult. But that's only because I look for little odd things. And every time I see someone with shiny glasses, I always look to see if you can see something in reverse. Yeah. Not that it wrecks it for anybody, but
yeah, another Easter egg kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I almost want to just kind of fast forward to, well, maybe not. Maybe we should go back to him hitting school and you see Jennifer for the first time. I was going to say, let's just blow past everything, just go straight to when they show the DeLorean, but we should talk about the school, I guess, because it looks really run down, obviously, when he first comes up. And you see Jennifer for the first time coming out. And I wouldn't say she's the best actress, but I think she's a model, not necessarily an actress. But I think that as the scenes went on, she got better. It was just that when you first see her for the first time, it just wasn't very believable. But there
definitely wasn't a lot of chemistry there.
No.
She's a very good looking girl for sure. And Marty did well for himself there. But yeah, her acting chops are definitely not top notch. I'm going to guess she didn't eat up a large chunk of the $19 million cost to make it.
No. The Mr. Strickland though, so he was I thought he was great. Like he's that guy that people don't know who he is. They recognize him from different things. Like obviously after this, he went on into Top Gun, which was again small role, but very important part of the role at the very beginning of the movie, and kind of iconic because he's got those great lines in it. But apparently, so whenever he was back in, I want to say it was New York or somewhere like that, and he was doing onstage plays, and he didn't want to make that trek to Hollywood. He said, Hollywood will call me whenever they're ready. And his wife just said, yeah, if that's how you want to play this, great. Lo and behold, he gets a call to go for Back to the Future. So that was his first trek, his first experience in Hollywood. So, I mean, what better movie to get your feet wet in Hollywood, right? So
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he was perfect. He played the perfect hard ass principal, and like you said, had some of the good one liners and every time you saw him, he was kind of tense on screen of what he's gonna do, and I thought that was perfect casting. I don't know if you could slot anybody else in there that would be any better.
And he had easily the most awkward scene in the entire film is when he's talking to Marty saying,
no McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
Yeah, well, history is going to change.
watching, like, oh, what the hell is going on here? Like, you're like one step away from kissing each other, and Marty didn't even budge. I think like, nowadays it would have back to him. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you so close to me? So
It's funny you say that because I thought the same thing. I'm like, wow, he is right in his face.
yeah, and it's like that last little sentence. It's right when he says, "Has never amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley," and that's when his nose touches. Like, oh, come on, man, back up. But if you look at TV shows and movies and everything, like how close people stand together isn't natural. So I mean, you're already going to have that, but this just pushed that to the absolute max, or I guess min.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I mean, from there they go on to I can't remember. Is that when they go to the center of town? Then at that point, and it's just him and Jennifer talking. You know, that's when you find out about the clock tower, all that stuff, and he hasn't gone to. I don't think he's gone to the tryouts for the school bands or the battle of the bands or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So.
And you see the nice Toyota pickup truck roll through town too.
Check out that 4x4.
Yeah. Which that, you know, things that you talk about, things that hold up. I would take one of those things right now. That's a beautiful truck for 1985.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I mean, those were the trucks that I always found that they looked less like they were for work and more like they were for fun.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, exactly.
Small,
they're not
nimble looking, so
they're not pulling a burning ocean liner up a mesa, you know, trying to talk about all their torque.
Yeah. Yeah,
I hate truck commercials.
There's like something that should be just climbing a hill, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then from there they go through, they talk about all the stuff with the clock tower, which is obviously important information to know moving forward in the film. You get a little glimpse of Jennifer, and this is where they actually seem like they're actually more of a couple. Apparently, and again, when I tried watching this stuff and seeing it, so maybe it's different on the iPad than my TV, but in some of the little bloopers or trivia notes or whatever, it said that when the girl gives Marty the flyer for the clock tower, it already has "I love you" and the phone number written on it, but I couldn't see anything. But
yeah,
apparently it's a thing.
Okay, so. Yeah, I definitely didn't notice that either. But another thing to go back and look for.
Yeah, well, I've gone back like 6-7 times. Like I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but it's not there. So, but that being said, I was wrong about the Harold Lloyd.
Yeah,
I found it just right at the very beginning of this. So maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot, or who knows. So then they get the Pinheads, which is what Marty's band's called. You know, typical 80s low-level names, right? So they go up and they sit down, plug in, and they just start playing. Do you recognize the song?
Yeah, that was "Power of Love."
Yeah, just
the riff.
Yeah. So yeah, it's slightly different. So they must be doing it in a different key or whatever, but which I thought still sounded great.
Yeah.
And the Clark Kent in the front row, Huey Lewis, slicks his hair and puts on a pair of glasses, and he thinks he's hiding who he is. Stands up and says, "Sorry, guys, you're just too darn loud." I'm not even sure what that means to a band.
Yeah, no kidding. Perfect cameo, and this is almost like a commercial, you know, like an old K-Tel commercial for a Huey Lewis album. Because later on, the sports poster is in Marty's bedroom, I believe. He's the judge for the talent show, and they're playing his song all throughout the movie. Like, Huey did all right in this.
Yeah, especially for whenever the studio came. I can't remember if it was studio or Zemeckis. Whoever it was, one of the guys came and asked him to do a song for the film, and he said, "No, I don't want I don't want to do a song called Back to the Future or whatever. And they said, no. It doesn't have to be called Back to the Future. We just want an original song. He goes, all right, let me put something together. And they put together a little bit of The Power of Love, and they loved it. And then, so they obviously went ahead and released it before the film came out, and it skyrocketed up. It was amazing. So the film had that going into it even before it had been released. So you've got this super popular song, and I was like, wow, it's in like the best movie ever too. So, which I
Yeah,
thought was really
pretty
cool.
good combo, and it's still a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, then they got once they got some of the filming done and they showed Huey what the film was going to be like. That's how they came up with Back in Time for afterwards. So, which again, perfect for this film, obviously. So, but needless to say, I think that was the end of Marty McFly's musical career.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just watching the scene here when again, one of the pivotal scenes at the very beginning when it showed all the clocks going off, and Doc Brown saying my experiment worked, which I'm not sure if all the clocks went off at 25 after 8, but they're all showing 8 o'clock. Doesn't that just mean that he just turned all of his clocks back 25 minutes?
Yeah, I didn't really get that either, unless he no, because he said Einstein was the first one to try. I was wondering if maybe he tried it out or had some sort of trial with it already, and then later on tries it with Einstein. Like, I didn't get that my experiment worked part either. Like, I was with you. Like, does it just mean your clocks are all slow or fast?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Like, so then he goes, "You're telling me that it's 8:25 right now? Damn, I'm late for school." Bam, and then that's actually when you see Marty come out of the garage. So it was his
out of the
lab
old
or whatever.
garage.
So, and then he kicks open the gate and he throws down the skateboard, gets his headphones on, and that Jeep that pulls out, was it a Jeep? No, it was a truck. There's a truck pulling out of the Burger King drive-through, and that's what he grabs onto. So I guess Burger King didn't they didn't get paid for it, but they had product placement from that and a couple other scenes, whatever, something like that. I don't remember exactly what all the details were, but there was it's like more like a verbal agreement or whatever with certain things. So just kind of worked out for them, I guess. But so then after that scene, he drives away and the truck turns off and he grabs onto the back of that Jeep. So, and of course, again, with your product placement,
Yeah.
that's the guy that's driving the Jeep is Walter Scott. He's actually one of the stunt guys for the show or the film.
Okay.
But that Mountain Dew symbol's like this big.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure that's
massive.
even a real hat. Well,
Yeah, it's huge. It might be like a hat on top of a hat.
yeah, it's like a 10-gallon hat.
10 gallons of Mountain Dew. Do you remember? I vaguely remember, but do you remember hearing like stories of people trying the holding on to vehicles on their skateboards and getting injured, and like
Oh,
people warning, please don't do this?
Yeah. There's like
As soon as he started doing that, I just had an immediate flashback to like a news report or something where someone was seriously injured trying that.
Yeah. Well, and it wouldn't take much, especially with those older wheels back in the 80s. Small, like a big enough pebble, that
Yeah,
board goes to a dead
right.
stop. I used to skateboard myself when I was younger, so I mean, it was
Or a
it was
quick
always dodgy.
brake check, and Marty's got Jeep tattooed across his face.
Yeah. You remember do you remember the movie The Program? 1993, I think. They had the same issue though. You remember when in the opening scenes there that
Right,
they
right.
ended up getting rid of the lying on the lines in the highway.
Yeah.
A ton of people did that. Like I know someone from back home that their brother did it and it didn't work out well. So
That's hard to believe that didn't work out. Laying in the street.
yeah, and that was on the 417 in
Oh my
Ottawa.
gosh.
So it was yeah, it was nuts. But it was his birthday, so they were drunk. So it was just good ideas always come when you're having a few pops.
Yeah, some of my
Oh.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I always wondered why Doc Brown wanted to um show Marty in like the middle of the night, like why 1 o'clock in the morning, all this stuff, right? So did you ever notice that there's a lot of this film does take place at night?
Yeah, that's true. Now that you say that, yeah, like
Yeah.
80% of it's at night.
Yeah. So that's because so we'll go back a little bit. They hired Eric Stoltz to play Marty. It
Right.
didn't they wanted Michael J. Fox, but he was already tied up with Family Ties, so obviously they couldn't get him. So they went 6 weeks with Stoltz. Didn't work out. Just didn't have the right charisma. The right he didn't deliver the funny lines the way how they envisioned it all. So they went back and they talked to Goldberg, I think, was the producer of Family Ties, and they finally came up with an agreement that as long as Michael J. Fox held his commitment with the Family Ties filming during the day, that they would allow him to go and film at night. So I don't know. I'm sure on the weekends that's when they did their day stuff or whatever. But
Yeah.
talk about a trooper, like they send a driver, and I want to say it was a station wagon, so you could actually sleep right in the car or whatever. So, but yeah, he was all on board. But I mean, he was 23 at the time, so that's back when you could do stuff like that. Try doing that when you're in your late 40s, early 50s. See how well that works out for you.
Stoltz seems like such a weird choice, right? Because he's kind of a mopey guy. I don't know anything I know him from. He's not a real high energy
No,
kind of, even I don't know. I find him, even just looking at him, is not. It's kind of off-putting. I've seen the clip of YouTube, like where he's actually doing the scenes, and I'm like, this is horrible casting.
yeah.
Like it would have been a completely different movie, I think.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean that movie was Michael J. Fox. Like, well, him and Doc Brown for sure. That's just the way how they played off each other, and just how, like you said, Stoltz is a little mopey, whereas Michael J. Fox, he's bouncing off the wall like he's, just taking a whole bunch of Pepsi.
Yeah, Pepsi free.
Pepsi free. Well, yeah. I'm glad it worked out the way how it did, because we wouldn't even be talking about this movie right now.
No, I don't think so either.
Oh, but I mean, so there's a lot of scenes apparently that are still Eric Stoltz, but they just took Michael J. Fox. So like all these beginning scenes, so they just added Michael J. Fox into ones where you can clearly see his face, and apparently there's a punch. I can't remember where it is, but it's Stoltz, and they left it in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out, because I just
Frame
saw
by
that
frame.
Yeah. Spend 3 hours looking for it and go, yeah, never found it.
You're cutting up the JFK footage here.
Better get permission from Trump. Make sure it's okay to look at this stuff. So, all right. So let's get to the big reveal of the DeLorean. So you got Michael J. Fox rolling in on his skateboard, Twin Pines Mall. J.C. Penney in the background. No product placement there. And there's Robert's restaurant or whatever that was on the left. And it rolls in. Einstein. I mean, what a dog, just to sit there by himself and just sit there, not move. My dog would have been gone. It would have been getting a new dog. So
yeah. Even sitting in the car, my dog would have been in the back seat looking for old goldfish that kids have dropped. Or there's no way he's just sitting in the driver's seat.
No. Yeah. So then the door opens up and you see this. You see something pulling out. You don't even know what it is at first, right? Because you just see like these big exhaust port things sticking out of the back of the car, rolls out. So I know we brought this up before to you, but that big pan scene, like it's got the music playing, it comes down like the passenger side of the car, across the front. You see like the headlamps, the grill, and then it comes up and the door opens up. Why is it full of smoke? Is there a fire going on the inside there? Like, at no other time in the rest of the movie is there smoke inside that car. I get it was so that you can't see Doc as it's panning across, but just lower that camera down just a little bit further.
Is it possible that Doc's moonlighting as a dry ice salesman at night, and that he was in between shipments there?
Yeah, it's just emanating off of his clothes, I guess. Must be all the radiation from his suit. Well. But I mean, so they end up. Doc gets out. He's scatterbrain. That's just his character, right? So
Yeah.
There's so many scenes, not scenes, so many sections of this that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life because it was epic. Him getting out that gull-wing door. I think that was probably the first time that I'd ever seen a gull-wing door. Hence, it was also one of the reasons why they chose the car for the movie. And then just the cabling and wires all hanging off the sides inside the car. It's full of everything. It's way better than the original DeLorean.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I had no idea what a DeLorean even was. Like, up to that point, you had the old book fair posters with like Ferraris and Lamborghinis on it. So
Yeah.
when I saw this car, I assumed, like, I had no idea what a DeLorean was. I assumed it was some high-end sports car like that, because obviously I'm a kid. And I remember being like, holy shit, that is one cool looking car.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have all that extra stuff
Right,
on the
yeah.
inside, right? So
Yeah.
time circuits and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, the car comes out, they start rolling. He brings out the remote control to the car. They strap Einie in. So I could be wrong, but when the car's sitting there and they're on the driver's side because they literally just shut the door, and Doc Brown's right hand on the right side of the controller pushes back like to the right, and the car takes off backwards. That's always struck me as funny because I've had a ton of remote control cars as a kid. Though the left one was for front and backwards, and the right one was to turn the wheels left and right. So the fact that you
That's right.
pushed it to the right should have just turned the wheels, but the car took off, right? So it was. I found that odd, but then later on, everything went back to normal to how it should be going on, right? So, and my first thought right after they took off with the car, that's not a harness in there for Einstein. It's not a person. The dog's literally sitting on the seat with this regular seatbelt. That dog should have been thrown all over the car in there. But
Yeah, it's not like they had a NASCAR Hans device in there locking them in just to for
Yeah.
the. Yeah, I don't like it. So it's funny. I just took my dog to the vet yesterday, and when I pulled out of the driveway, and I'm maybe doing 20, and it lost its balance and fell into the dashboard a little bit. So yeah, maybe Einie's got unbelievable core strength.
Anytime I've ever had the same thing, anytime I've ever had the dog in the car, you just put the brakes on a little bit, and the dog comes forward, bang, and into your back seat. And this thing's hammering on the brakes, it's spinning around like. So I suppose it's Hollywood. We're supposed to get past that, right? So
That's right. That's right.
yeah. So then they line it up. They get the wheels spinning, and obviously, Marty wants to step away from in the path of the car. Which, if you look at the history of his experiments, they tend to not work, except for that one earlier with the high end 25-minute behind clocks.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to stand there either, because he doesn't even know what's going on, because this is his first time, which you kind of figure out afterwards, right? No one in the right mind standing in front of a car that's doing 80 miles an hour, 88 miles an hour, sorry. Well, yeah, it's not to mention the fact there's no way that car could have gotten up to that speed by the time it hit them. So even if you're off by like a foot, you're getting killed right before it jumps, right? So
you're toast.
So I mean, you get past that, the car goes to the future. They have that big long speech with all the stuff that's time travel. And then his watch goes off and he beeps and he has to push him out of the way, which So obviously, no matter where the car jumps from, it jumps to that same spot in whatever time period, right? Does great. The car, and like anyone that's never played a video game before, turns the whole remote because that's going to help you stop the car, right? Growing up, I remember just watching my parents playing a video game that after my brother and I are playing, and we're just sitting and the remote never moves. Doesn't matter what you're doing because it's not helping you out.
Right.
It's not a Wii. So my mom used to do this all the time, trying to get the car to turn or whatever, right? So
Yeah, I can never, or jumping and you jump it forward. So that's going to make the jump farther.
So the car stops, starts walking up, and the exhaust blows out the back of the car, and that startles Doc Brown. Like, didn't you make this thing? Like, shouldn't you not be expecting that to happen? He looks so confused in that moment that you're sitting there going, okay, obviously this car is doing all these things that he has no idea what's going on. Oh,
A little risky.
yeah.
Little risky. Some of the facial expressions that he's doing during this, like that section, and then a few later on are just like top notch. Like we're going to talk about other actors playing these roles, but I don't think anyone could to do a better Doc Brown either. Like just the bug-eyed, shocking expressions and stuff like that were just adds to the whole sort of nutty scientist.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
it. Like perfect.
No, it's just like we were saying about Michael J. Fox being the perfect person to play that role. They hit the cast. Like, you can't change anybody in this to a better person.
No, definitely
No.
not.
Like, each one of them lends their own little piece to it. So like with Christopher Lloyd, like you said, you go back to shows like Taxi, he's got that same kind of nuttiness to him that's the reason why he was asked to play this role, right? So all right, so going through all the stuff, they start talking about
does it run like on regular unleaded gasoline?
Unfortunately, no. It requires something with a little more kick. Plutonium.
Plutonium. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear?
and it needs the 1.21 gigawatts, which we now pronounce that differently nowadays. It's now a gigawatt, but as it kind of lends itself to the time period as well. I guess we were talking about holding up time or whatever. So, yeah, it's great. And then all of a sudden, the dog starts barking, and it's probably one of the few times where Doc Brown looks the most normal, where he's just like, hey, Einie, what are you barking at? And then he looks over and goes, oh my God, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty. And then the Libyans are the terrorists, which I think in like the later editions of it, they had to take away certain lines out of the movie, and I believe it was because of 9/11. So I don't know if it's just the TV versions of it that they've done, or maybe anything that's been made since, but taking the word like bomb out of it, and certain things have changed apparently. I wouldn't have noticed because half the time this stuff was on TV, so you're missing chunks of stuff anyway. So
Right.
so yeah. So then you have the big scene with the terrorists showing up and the big run. It was a good thing all vehicles in the 80s sucked, because Marty would have been dead.
Not to mention, are the Libyans the worst shot in the world? Like, there's one part where it looks like the DeLoreans, they could reach out and touch it, and they're still missing the car with the bullets.
Yeah. Well, you can actually see the bullets hitting the ground in between them, and there's only like you said, like a 2-foot space between the two vehicles, and the DeLorean doesn't get hit a single time. So
Just ace marksmanship there.
yeah. Well, and the fact that they're using a AK-47, which is, I believe, known for its reliability, not jamming up and locking up every third shot, right? So, yeah, it was a great scene. And then Marty goes and hops in the car, and first off, that car is a six cylinder. It wasn't known for its power. It was underpowered. It doesn't handle well. I'm not sure you can get up to 88 miles an hour in a parking lot at a mall anyways, even though I know they already did it once, but that was a straight shot, and now he's trying to outrun a VW bus, which is it's holding its own against the DeLorean, right? So, um, yeah. So I mean, they go through all their let's see if these bastards can do 90, and instead of gearing down, he gears up, which I always love. I love movies where they get things wrong with shifting gears, or even like the movie The Bullet with Steve McQueen. That Mustang's got to have 30 gears in it because they're on the highway and they just keep shifting. So
I love that
anyways.
when there's 7 or 8 extra gears in any movie car. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, just like bullets in a gun, right? That's the good thing about Star Wars,
yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like a charged cell, so they don't have to worry about running out of shots. Whereas, all these guns always seem to have way more rounds in them than their clips are able to hold. But, yeah. So anyway, so they go through, the time circuits are accidentally hit on, of course, and then that was right when he says, let's see if you bastards can do 90, and then they ends up in the fields of Mr. Peabody's sanctuary for the pines.
That's right.
So, and there's actually something that I noticed because I just rewatched the movie again this morning, and I've never noticed it before. So he hits the scarecrow thing, screams, and then he goes into the barn. I'm assuming it's the back of the barn. I don't know. But the next scene, whenever the old man Peabody opens up the door, the DeLorean's sitting there. That back wall is all intact. There's nothing missing. So
I never noticed that.
Yeah,
It should be blown apart.
You should be able to see outside. Yeah, 100%. I was just like sitting there going, like, looking around, going, how did it get in here then? Did it go in through did the doors open up and it came in and just, whatever. So again, it's Hollywood. You're supposed to take it for what it is, right? So
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so again, something else that I never picked up on, because I don't think it ever says the son's name, but the son's name is I was gonna say Sherman. So Sherman and Peabody. It's supposed to be like a little montage to them.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Another time travel.
Yeah. So then they go in, they see the car opening. So again, another reason why they chose the DeLorean. They needed the gull wings to open up because then it matched more of what the UFOs, like the comic books from the 50s or whatever, would show some of that, which is what the kid shows his dad. He goes, look, it's a spaceship. And Marty gets out wearing the radiation suit and helmet and everything on. So yeah, it was such a good scene. I don't know why he had to get out so slow. You're not Pamela Anderson. This isn't a windy scene where you got to walk slow motion into the room, but
it was kind of weirdly slow.
It was. So now that to me would have been a good scene for the same thing as earlier with Doc Brown. If the cabin was full of smoke and you got out and that was full of smoke, that would have been great. But again, that was the one and only time in the movie where the cabin's full of smoke. So, the great thing about that scene with the farmer and everything is, again, we were talking about Twin Pines Mall at right when they go to do the thing. So then when old man Peabody starts opening fire, obviously Marty's got to get the DeLorean out of there, and they fly out of there, and he hits one of the twin pines right at the front of the driveway, which infuriates Peabody. So fast forward later on, and again, I didn't notice this as a kid. It wasn't until I was an adult, but then later on, whenever he finally comes back to 1985, it's Lone Pine Mall or something, or it's no longer Twin Pines Mall. So no,
I never noticed that either. That's like the actual sign changes and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was one of the things that Doc Brown keeps hitting home, that any small thing can change the future, right? So something as small as running over a tree, because it's no longer the twin pines that were set up at the beginning of the driveway. So lots of small little things in this movie. That's why I like it so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so yeah, and then he gets to, so again, I never put this together until something else I noticed this morning. So he's flying out of there. It's dark. It's only 2 kilometers outside of, 2 miles outside of Hill Valley, but he comes up to Lion Estates, which is where he lives. Why is there a subdivision 2 miles outside of town? Like, it's literally farmers' fields the whole way down the street as he's driving up. This is the first spot they decide to put a subdivision in for Hill Valley. They don't, like every other town on the face of the world, face of the planet. They slowly build it out.
Build out, yeah.
Yeah, they don't just also go, let's go 2 miles out. So, but again, they wanted to have it isolated so the car's not found. So, but again, Doc Brown's about to go into the future, packs his bag. He remembers that he needs to get plutonium. Does he not have a full tank of gas? Like, yeah, they drove around the parking lot there for a bit, but it should still run on gas, so then they blame it on the start or whatever. But then I don't know. That's, as a kid, when he couldn't start it, I just assumed it was out of gas.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he also gets the warning light saying that the plutonium chamber is now empty. So just as a kid, and again, maybe I was too young at the time to see it, but it was like, you ran out of gas? Come on. And do they even have unleaded gas in the future? Or sorry, in 1955?
Good question.
Like I know growing up in the when I first got my license, it was the early to mid 90s. And back then there was only 2 types of gas. There was leaded and unleaded. That was it. So I just assumed that, before I got my license, everything was leaded. So, yeah. So then they end up hiding the car behind the sign. He does a really bang up job with that, by throwing the branches on there. And they've got all this construction equipment. So if this all took place, over the course of a weekend when the construction guys weren't there, but how did, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they that thing would have been stolen or
yeah,
or moved or something. Yeah,
or bare minimum seen. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's a car from the future. Nothing else looks like it, and there's only 3 branches on it.
Yeah. The camouflage could have been a little better.
Yeah. So, do you think that was Friday night that this took place? Like, technically Saturday morning?
Yeah, I guess it must have been, right? It would have to be.
Or I guess a
I'm
better
trying to
question would have been, when was November 5th, 1955? Was that a Saturday, or like was that the weekend? Is that why there was nobody working or whatever? So
yeah, I'd have to check the timeline there.
Yeah, but again, I guess it was it would have been 5 o'clock in the morning when he rolled up doing whatever, right? Because it was dark, the scene right before. So
True.
yeah. So then after that, he gets to stroll on into Hill Valley, where you're now seeing it for the second time, but now it's perfect. There's no graffiti anywhere. Everything is nicely manicured. The set was brand new. So yeah, and then I guess because it was 1985 for me when I was watching it, I never would have picked up on his vest being a life preserver until they started saying something about it, right? So
yeah, I like that one. And I guess, same if they would have never seen anything like that other than on a boat. So yeah, it makes sense. But I thought that was pretty funny as a kid.
Yeah. And then walking into the diner, he's got, to me, it was probably one of the more comedic sections of the movie. Just when he walks in and he goes and asks for, they go through the whole, hey, what's with the life preserver? And then he asks for the phone and goes back. And then when he comes back out, he asks where 1640 Riverside Drive is, which is Doc Brown's address. And the guy goes, you gonna order something? It's like, yeah.
Give me a tab.
Tab? I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
All right, give me a Pepsi free.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it.
Look, just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
Something without sugar.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. It's funny. I asked somebody yesterday at work. So someone that's they're only in their, is it late 20s maybe? Yeah. Have you ever heard of the soda called Tab? Like, no. Like, oh. I guess I just aged myself. So,
Yeah,
no.
I'm trying to think if I've even had a Tab. I remember Tab, but I don't think I ever had one. But
Same.
yeah, I'd be surprised if people in their 20s even know about this movie.
Well, the person that I asked said that it's on their list for classic movies to watch.
Classic.
So, yeah, fair enough. So, but and they were in their probably 27, 28. So, maybe sometime this year they'll actually get around to watching it. So, we'll see. So, sorry, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, just rolling into a town.
Yeah,
So-
it's just at the diner.
Yeah. So then after all that, that's where Biff comes in for the first time, and that's the scene that I remember most from Eric Stoltz. It would always show him in that same, hand on the back of the head, and then he pans over and you see that George McFly is sitting there doing the exact same thing. So he's got a lot of similarities to his dad, but just he's got the better qualities, I guess, out of his dad. So
The
There
dude
was-
with the 3D glasses. I can't imagine that would be was ever a fashion thing, but anytime you see anything from like the 50s, there's always the one guy wearing the 3D glasses, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just an odd thing.
he's actually on my list for people that just to see if you knew who they were, because they actually go on and do other stuff that is memorable.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea who that guy was.
Did you recognize any of the other guys in the background? Both of them
I
went
don't
on to
think-
do westerns really close to, after that movie.
Oh, really? No, I don't. I barely paid attention to him because you're always so focused on Biff being angry.
Oh, do you remember Billy Zane? Oh, that was one of the guys.
Okay.
His name was Match or Matchbook or something. And the guy with the 3D glasses was Casey Zemeckis, I think is that how you say his name. He was in Young Guns. He was the
Okay.
there was the two guys there that were kind of he was the one that they called the pugilist. He was the boxer out of the group.
Okay.
So yeah,
No,
there
I
was
didn't know that.
yeah, it's funny. I always recognized Billy Zane, but I never recognized Casey because he's got those stupid glasses on it.
Yeah,
It's written right on it, 3D. So that's actually his name in the credits is 3D, and the other guy was Match or Matchbook or whatever. So, but yeah. So I mean, another great scene in this movie is such a classic 50s style movie where you hit the first guy and a whole row of them all fall down. You know what I mean? So it's almost like they grab stuff from like different eras and just because we're going into the 50s, they got to act like they're the 50s. So
Yeah, that's a good call. They do like the bowling pin fall as he's running out there, and that is totally straight out of a 50s sitcom or something. I never thought about that, but that's like another perfect little nod to the time period.
Yep. And then he runs out and I can't remember what those boards that those kids have. There's a name for them.
Yeah. I can't
Or-
remember what it is either.
It's like
It's
an orange
something-
box board or something, or
Something
some-
like that.
has something to do with the crate that's actually attached to the board or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, just the fact that he grabs onto that and it so easily comes apart. It just goes to show the quality of those things that were put together. But and to be continued.